Some cases start with a single 911 call. This one started with silence, Tace, a 24-year-old woman who simply never made it home, and a phone that went straight to voicemail for 6 hours straight. By the time this case closed, 4 men were behind bars, and a young woman who thought her night couldn't get any worse walked out of a locked room to see flashing lights outside. I'm Marshall. This is another case I closed, and this is how it happened.
Rachel Ortiz, 24 years old, worked the closing shift at a downtown bar 3 nights a week. It was a Friday night, and her roommate expected her home around 2:30 a.m., same as always. By 4 a.m., with no word and no answer on her phone, her roommate called the bar. The manager confirmed Rachel had left on time, alone, walking to her car in the side lot. Same routine as every other night. Her roommate called 911 at 4:20 a.m. Patrol found Rachel's car still parked in the side lot, driver's door unlocked, her purse still on the passenger seat with her phone inside, powered off. That combination, a car left behind, a phone deliberately powered off, no signs of a struggle at the vehicle itself, told me this wasn't a simple case of someone losing track of time. Someone had taken her from that parking lot. I got the call just before 5 a.m. and was at the scene within 20 minutes. The side lot had exactly one working security camera mounted on the building next door, angled toward the entrance rather than the parking spaces themselves. But it was close enough to catch the edge of the lot. The footage showed a dark-colored van pulling into the lot at 2:34 a.m., 4 minutes before Rachel would have finished closing up. It sat with its engine running for almost 10 minutes before backing out just after 2:44 a.m., right around the time Rachel would have been walking to her car. The footage wasn't clear enough to read the plate, but it gave us a vehicle description and a tight time frame. I put out an immediate regional alert for a dark van matching that description, along with Rachel's information as a missing person believed to be in danger. 2 hours later, a state trooper on a highway about 30 miles out spotted a van matching the description, driving erratically, weaving between lanes. He ran the plate before initiating a stop. It came back registered to a 22-year-old man named Trevor Malik. No serious priors, but 2 minor citations in the past year. The trooper approached carefully, given the alert connected to a possible abduction. Before he reached the window, the van suddenly accelerated, leading to a short pursuit that ended when it lost control on an exit ramp and came to a stop against a guardrail. 4 young men were inside, ranging in age from 20 to 24. Rachel was not with them. That was the hardest moment of the entire case for me, finding the vehicle, but not the person we were looking for. All 4 were taken into custody separately, which matters a great deal in cases like this. Separating suspects prevents them from coordinating their stories, and often one of them breaks first. That's exactly what happened. The youngest of the 4, 20 years old, was the first to talk, likely realizing the severity of the charges he was now facing. He told investigators the group had grabbed Rachel from the parking lot, forced her into the back of the van, and had been driving without a clear plan, arguing amongst themselves about what to do next. He said they'd left her at a house belonging to Trevor's cousin, a property about 40 minutes outside the city, roughly an hour before the traffic stop, and that they'd been driving separately when the trooper spotted them, panicking about what to do next. I had a location. Now I needed to move fast, because we had no way of knowing what condition Rachel might be in, or whether anyone else was still with her at that property. I coordinated with SWAT and a hostage negotiation team given the uncertainty of who else might be at the property. We approached just before 8 a.m., roughly 6 hours after Rachel had first gone missing. The house appeared quiet from the outside. After a tense several minutes of no response at the door, officers made entry and cleared the home room by room. Rachel was found locked in a back bedroom, alone, no one else present at the property. She was frightened, shaken, and had not been physically harmed beyond some bruising from being restrained during the initial abduction. But she was alive, and she was able to walk out of that house on her own. I remember the moment she was brought outside. She didn't say much at first, just asked twice if it was really over. In the days that followed, Rachel gave a full statement, working with our victim services team at a pace she was comfortable with. She described being grabbed as she reached her car, forced into the van, and driven around for what she estimated was close to an hour before being taken into the house. She said the four men argued frequently amongst themselves the entire time. About money, about what they were doing, about whether to let her go. She believed that disagreement among them, more than anything else, was the reason she was left largely alone in that back room, rather than in immediate further danger. Her composure throughout the ordeal, and her ability to recall details about the van's interior, the route taken, and fragments of the conversation between the four men, gave investigators critical corroborating details that lined up precisely with what the youngest suspect had already told us. All four men were charged with kidnapping, and additional charges followed for two of them related to the high-speed pursuit and resisting arrest. The trial took place a little over a year later. The prosecution's case relied on the security footage from the bar's parking lot, the traffic stop and pursuit, the youngest suspect's early cooperation, and Rachel's own detailed testimony, which matched the physical evidence and account almost exactly. The defense for two of the men argued diminished involvement, claiming they'd tried to convince the others to let Rachel go. The jury ultimately convicted all four, though sentencing varied based on each man's specific role, ranging from 8 to 18 years. Rachel attended every day of the trial. In her victim impact statement, she said the hardest part wasn't the night itself, but the months afterward, learning to feel safe walking to her own car again. Rachel moved to a new apartment about 6 months after the trial concluded, closer to family. She still works in the service industry, though she told me she no longer takes closing shifts alone without someone walking her to her car, a policy her new employer adopted for every employee after hearing what happened to her. Small changes like that don't undo what happened, but they matter. They're proof that even in the aftermath of something terrifying, something safer can still be built.
6 hours. That's how long it took from the moment Rachel went missing to the moment she was found. 6 hours of a car left behind, a van on a highway, and four men who couldn't agree on what to do next to hide, and in the end, that disagreement may have saved her life. I'm Marshall. That's another case closed. If you believe justice should always win, hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next case.